What's going on, guys? I got Martin Lamb here from the LOD project. Guys, we're going to be doing a little interview with him. This interview is highly anticipated. I'm very interested in this project, guys, and I want to know what's been going on with it, what we can look forward to, all the basic information, anything that you guys probably have questions on about this project. We're going to get that answer for you today. So first of all, I want to say, Martin, thank you very much for joining me on the channel. I really do appreciate it, my man. Can you please introduce yourself and your role within the company?
Yeah, thanks, Professor. Martin Lamb, been around blockchain and crypto since 2014, out the traditional finance world. Was fascinated. People approached me for some offshore structuring and bank licensing, and they told me all about this thing called mining and BTC and the blockchain, and I thought it was a game changer. I mean, it's just, but for finance, it's like the invention of the internet for finance. I mean, it's just incredible. So got highly fascinated by it, and man, it's been a great journey, seeing all the changes, and the world's opening up, and people are understanding what this means for freedom in finance. It's amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Martin, if I might say, can you please explain to everyone what is this project LOD all about? LOD3. What is it all about?
Yeah. The basic premise of this for the founders was restoring honest money, restoring silver and gold to the monetary system. The fiat money experiment over the last 50 years has failed. It just doesn't work. It's failed people in developing countries. Billions of people suffer because they're tied to the dollar, and the dollar is printed at free will. I think 70% of all dollars come into existence over the last 36 months. I mean, it's just unsustainable. So let's return ourselves to a backed silver and gold token, and that's what we bought. We've tokenized silver and gold with a proof of reserve, independently vaulted silver and gold, and we're using technology to bring this to billions of people. That's the premise. Very basic stuff.
So tokenizing precious metals, tokenizing silver and gold. That's a very, very interesting concept here. What inspired this project, would you say? What was the biggest aspirational point that you guys kind of sat down and said, you know, we're going to take this from Web 2 to Web 3 and, you know, let's do it with precious metals?
Well, that's interesting you say that, because this concept came around in 2017, 2018, during the height of that first run in BTC. Now, at that point, the technology didn't exist. The real breakthrough for this project was the Web3, the EVM, the innovation that allowed this. This project's always been three asset based. The governance token, the LOD token, and then the AGX, which represents a gram of silver. The AUX represents a milligram of gold. So they're the two utilities there. Then the third utility is the governance token, which is the LOD3 LOD token. And so that now has come into its full flourish over the last 2 years with the EVM and Web3, allowing the panacea to be achieved. You're getting yield on vaulted silver and gold. Think about it. Yield on gold, on vaulted silver and gold. So that's what we can achieve now through the Web3. Yeah.
And Martin, what would you say that are some of the features, benefits, or highlights for the community members? I know that you mentioned a couple there, but if I can ask you that question blatantly, maybe you would change your answer. Maybe you would add things, maybe you would take things away. What do you think are some of the features, benefits, or highlights for community members with your project?
Well, through the use of the smart contracts in the Web3, you've got a revenue generating machine at the center of this. It's like a flywheel. So that produces, it scrapes off values that be self-claimed. So it keeps us in the laneway of a peer-to-peer, and yourself, by holding and staking a LOD token, you've got revenue streams that you're being scraped by smart contracts, and that's being a self-claimed reward goes back to the LOD token. So it's self-claiming through the LOD wallet, which can be found at LODewallet.com, LODwallet.com. You can get a wallet, and you can then start acquiring the assets in there and trading. We're currently on Trader Joe. We're on the Weeks exchange, and We've got several other exchanges that we're doing documentation for and listing over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
So you've actually just kind of indirectly answered my next question here, and that is, where will people be able to trade it? So you mentioned on the Weeks exchange, which is a very strong exchange, Trader Joe as well, and sorry, there were a couple others that you mentioned. You guys were in the process.
Yes, process of doing that. Sorry to interrupt, Professor.
No worries.
Yeah, L-Bank. We're looking at L-Bank. We're talking to Bitsmart. We're talking to MEXC. So yeah, we've got a full exchange we're pushing out up until the end of the year. So very, very exciting. We're bringing, everything's built. We've been in the lab. We've got it all developed. We have the smart contracts for scraping those revenue streams back to the LOD token, and their self-claimed rewards through the LOD wallet. And yeah, go to our website at LOD3.fi, and it explains everything, and it's happening. Yeah.
Now, my next question is, what can people expect in the first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days with this project?
Well, we've got an extensive roadmap, which is on the website. Obviously, the key to this is distribution of our AGX silver and AUX gold into various people's hands to send, spend, save via the wallet. It can be held on 300 different Web3 wallets, and we need distribution because people of the world need silver and gold. They need honest money restored to the system. 140 currencies suffer every day because of the printing of the US dollar. All currencies are tied to the dollar, and the dollar's tied to, nothing. F-35, whatever.
That's very true, very true. So my next question is more of a supportive question, and that's going to be, what can people do to support the project? I mean, obviously buy the token, do their own research, do their due diligence, but is there something else that you would be able to say that other people could do in order to support the project? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a word of mouth. Obviously, tell friends and family. There is an alternative. You just cannot gain and accumulate wealth when you're doing this with a traditional fiat currency. It's very difficult. People are very proud of their portfolio making 9% per annum. They're not calculating the true CPI value. I mean, when I went to school, which was a few years before you went to school, when you calculated what inflation was, it was a different number that I'm being told. You feel what inflation is. If you live in Europe, North America, you know what inflation is. It's not running at 3 to 4%. It's more like 15 to 20%. You can play the statistics. We know that. And so you add different values to the CPI calculation. You're just getting poorer holding dollars. So that's our goal. That's what gets us up in the morning, to restore honesty to the monetary system. And if you see track the price of silver over the last 5 years, track the price of gold. Gold was at $1,700 a year ago. It's now at $2,700. Okay. I mean, I can say to an American, you can still buy a gallon of gas for a quarter. No, you can't. Yes, you can. If that quarter was minted in 1964 or before, there's $7 worth of silver in it. That's real money. It's not nickel. It's not worth it now. But when it was silver, it was worth it. So that's the driving force of where we're coming from.
Very well said, Martin, I have to say. So my last question for you is, where can people find more information on this? Obviously your website. Where else can people find information on you?
Well, on all socials, X, Medium, just put in LOD3, it's going to come up. Go to the exchanges, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, all the aggregators were listed. There's a lot of information. The website, though, has a great community area with a bunch of videos that date back for the last 5 years. And these videos that we made 5 years ago are as relevant today as they've ever been. They talk about inflation. They talk about people getting poorer and not accumulating wealth. And that's just not in developing countries. That's in Europe and North America. That's in G7 countries. That's happening. And it's really started biting in the last 4 years. It's kind of fluctuation in the forces that be are obviously spoofing my internet. They don't want me to get this message out. They're spoofing me, Professor. Stop it. You see, when you're telling the truth, man, this is what happens.
Oh my goodness. You know, it's so funny because he just froze up there and I was like, what just happened? He was on a roll. What just happened there?
He was on a roll. You see, I must have said I tripped a circuit and some back. They put the kill button.
Well, you know, Martin, one thing that I want to say is that you guys seem like you're unstoppable because at the time of this recording, the LOD3 token is 46% up, okay? And I'm seeing that screenshot right here up in front of me on the week's exchange. You guys are at trading just over 23 cents, 0.237, just under 24 cents. You know, man, congratulations. You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
I'm sure that we're going to be seeing some big action, some more action from this token and from a project as a whole because it seems like you guys have a lot coming down the pipeline, lots to look forward to. I'm really excited for it. So I think this is definitely something that we're all going to have to keep our eyes on and really the people who are interested, guys, do your due diligence on the project and just see how great it is. I'm sure that you're not going to be disappointed. And Martin, I'd like to very much so thank you for your time. And is there anything that you wanted to kind of leave the audience off with?
We're not doing it for ourselves and our generation. We're doing it for future generations. You know, this is freedom. Freedom comes in many forms. If you have no freedom with your monetary values, you've got no freedom at all. I mean, you cannot be tied to governments. I mean, these are the same thing in a different vein. But silver and gold is 10,000 years around for man, and it needs to be around for another 10,000 years into the future. And we can use it now practically with technology. We don't have to haul it around in our pockets. It can be hauled around on the farm. That's how we use it.
Very well said, as I mentioned. And Martin, I'd really like to thank you again for your time, for coming on the show. I'm sure everyone is going to really enjoy this interview, man. So thank you again so much. I'm really looking forward to learning more about the project, seeing the developments that you guys come out with in the next coming weeks, months, years, everything coming down your pipeline. Shout out to your roadmap. I love that. So thanks again, Martin. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Really hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing some more crypto reviews and exclusive international blockchain events. We are the channel for that, guys, as you know. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.